So I have good news. My English book, I don't hope you see it in the right way. It's for me, it's in the opposite, but I hope you see it in a good way. Yeah, it's my new book, yeah, in English. So it's not yet published. I have the first one received. And then if you want to order it, you can order it with me. You can write me in the contact form on my website. You can write down your address and you can pay me by PayPal. It's 25 euros, inclusive the, the cost of mailing. Only for the Dutch people, it's more cheap because there's no mailing costs. So we'll see. I hope you will like it. Okay, there was another thing I wanted to say. I don't remember. This is a meeting which is very, very simple message. And normally we're so used to complication, used to having problems, trying to solve, trying to understand, trying to work it out. This message has nothing to do with that. And that's the joy. It's so simple. It's so easy also. Life is so easy. And in some way or another, it started to get very complicated and thinking like I have to deal with life. I have to make my life work. It's my life. There's no one. It's just life. And that's it. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on like better or worse, like responsibility, all those abstract terms where we're so used to and seem so very normal. It's just an abstraction of what just is. When there's seeing a dog, there's just seeing a dog. That's it. And when there's somebody, there's always trying to relay, trying to think about things. Maybe when there's fear, then thinking like, oh, there's a fear of the dog and what should I do and things like that. When there's fear, you don't know where it comes from. It's just fear. There's nothing going on about that. Circumstances don't influence what's going on. That what's felt like fear or any other feeling, it's just that. And it's so simple, nothing has any reason. That's what the mind and the me does, that there seems to be reason and cause and effect. It's an abstraction from what is. It's so simple, it's just what is, that's all. And when that's what's so trying to make your life work or trying to make your life more comfortable or feel better, that's not only in the mind, it's also embodied. So it's so vanzelfsprekend, so normal that most of the time it's not even questioned, that there are thoughts about what's going on and how can I deal with that? What's the reason? Oh, it's because of that. Circumstance seems to be outside. There's you, and there seems to be circumstances, and they influence. It's one. There's only one. So there's no cause and effect. So there's no reason or there's no because. It's what's happening. That's it. That's everything. And that everything is very tiny and simple. So it's already the moving of the hand. And it's so quick. If you want to follow it, you can't. You can't. It's changing and it's always new. So it's not trying to be in the moment. There is no moment. But you can't follow it. You don't have to follow it. It just happens. It happens and that's it. That's That's the joy. Life is joy. Life is aliveness. So, and that's in everything. So there's only aliveness. And aliveness doesn't mean there's a lot of energy and aliveness is also feeling uncomfortable or the floor. It's very neutral. Life is neutral. There's nothing going on about better or worse, about growing or things like that. That's what me does. That seems to be there in people because we can abstract and it seems like, oh, I'm here and there's the world around and other people and we have to deal with everything with other people, with circumstances. Life is neutral. It is. And it's energetic. So it's not because of. It's a mystery. It's a mystery what's going on. And aliveness is everything. You can't escape aliveness. Aliveness is it. You can call it aliveness. You can call it unconditional love. It's everything. So it's already everything. It can't be not everything because it's everything. So looking for everything is, how can you say it? You can't look for everything because it's everything. So you can't look for something that seems to be missing because there's nothing missing. What is going on? That's what's life. So when there's someone, there seems to be something missing, something not right yet, or it has to be more. Sometimes it has to be, no, I don't feel it. Or there's still, I feel a me. Or there's so many reasons because you have, that explains like, oh, it isn't yet there. Or it's different that Rose tells about or things like that. Everything is it. It can't be not it. So the search, when they're searching, it will never be found because it's already everything. And that the face which is looking in the mirror, the walking, the television, it's everything. So it's already there. And that's what we call already paradise. It's paradise. It's just aliveness in any form there is. There seems to be. The strange thing is, it's not real. Nothing is real. We are so into everything is solid and real and it's important. And there's this message saying nothing is real. It's only apparently real. It's not denying anything. It's apparently real. So it seems like all circumstances and bodies and streets and floors and it's apparently real. So nothing is going on. There's no solution needed. That what seems to be happening, that's it. That's already it. And it doesn't mean that it has to be a nice feeling or it's okay or something like that. That has nothing to do with this message. It's what it is. So it can be tension, can be walking, it's everything. So there's no need to understand. And when there's a lot of thoughts like trying to understand, then there are those thoughts. That's life, thoughting, without any reason, without any importance, and it doesn't have to be understood at the end or something like that. The thoughts are it. So you can't escape. It's everything, and it's already here. It's already here, there. It's already what is. It's so simple. Sometimes it's too simple because we're so used to explain, to trying to understand, to do. It's everything. That's the joy. So if you want to say something about this, or maybe ask questions, and it can be any question. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't have to be a right question, or very that it seems like I'm having a good question or things like that. It's everything. So any question is it, or any remark that you want to say. So please do.
Congrats with your English book.
Ah, thank you.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah, there's a chat. Are there other people When you look in somebody's eyes, you believe that there's somebody behind their eyes. Yeah, you can believe that, but it's a belief. So there are other bodies. You can see a body. The body is an apparent body, but it seems to be there. But there's no one inside. That's what we abstract, that we think or believe there's someone inside. There's somebody who, and maybe somebody you think, oh, he's like that and that and that. It's just what's happening there. There's no relation also. There's no one. So there's no one here, but not only here, but everywhere. So there's no one inside. The funny thing is, there's no inside, but there's also no outside. It's one. You can't make an image of that. We're so used to two things, like there's someone here, and inside the body there's someone, and outside there are circumstances of I am there, or it's an abstraction. We are so used to that. And then we have to deal with what's going on. Because you think I'm here and I have to, in some way, protect myself or make my life work. There's already no one, never has been someone. It's just bodies. And this is everything. There's no other countries or things like that. There's no world. This is everything. What is seen, what is felt, what is heard, all the senses. That's it. Now, outside that we make an image of that, or maybe remembering. That's just a remembering. It's always new. It's always new. And not all the time like, oh, like that. But it's like little children. It's always new. There's only what is going on. That's it. Are there no real bodies? Is somebody asking? No, it's not real. It's apparently real. What is seen, it's seen like there's a face here. That's everything. That little image. And we make up that there's a life of Rose or somebody else. It will be like that. You don't know. This is about not knowing, not being sure. Being sure is such a huge thing. It's not only knowing, but I want to be sure. I want to, it's to not being sure, that doesn't feel okay. So we're doing everything to make it sure, or to feel comfortable, or to maybe to know. There's only not knowing. You don't know. You don't know. That can be uncomfortable. It seems uncomfortable. It's just not knowing. No big deal. But when there's something going on all the time, like, oh, it's important to know, that seems to be really important to be sure, or to feel okay. This is not about feeling okay. It can be anything. It can be stress, or fear, or nothing. And it's not my feeling. That's also huge. You can say that. And when there's suddenly some circumstance, it seems like, ooh, then it's just your fear, and you try to deal with it. It's just that it's only that feeling. That's it. Not for anyone, not to anyone. And the feeling is also apparent. So it's apparently there. That's crazy. It seems so real.
You mean the feeling is also empty?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it can feel like a very intensive sensation, and that's what it is. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when everything seems to be real, and then it's very intense, and there's always trying to deal with it or trying to name it or something to do with that. And it's empty. There's no one doing something with it. When there's doing, it's life. That's life. It has nothing to do with you or something like that. It's life. That's what's going on. Thoughts. It's energetic. It's just thoughts. Nothing to do with anyone. And it's apparent. So it seems like everything is real, and it's empty. So it's not there, and it's apparently there, and it together. That's you can't make something of that. So that's the end. That's the end. So we try to understand that. You can't. You never will. That has nothing to do with understanding, or you don't need to. Doesn't matter. This is about loss. So there are so many concepts about what it is. We know what it is. A lot of things. Sometimes we don't know. And when that is lost, then suddenly it's like, oh, something like that. There's also in chat. So talking to a person is like talking to the carpet. Yeah. It's just talking. Yeah. It's different, but that's it. It's neutral, different. It's not more important, or in that sense. It's not. It's different, of course, but it's just different. And there's no meaning or no importance. When there was an awakening a long time ago, it was so amazing. And then I was cleaning the fridge, and it was like a baby. It was after that I was like, huh? But it felt like, I'm just cleaning it, and it was just love, amazing. And then it disappeared like that. But it was so it can be anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's love for everything.
In the beginning, you were saying something like some things has nothing to do with this message.
Yeah.
But then what's happening here, then it looks like there is two. So things that has nothing to do with this message and
Oh. Yeah, yeah, that's just an explaining of how some other things like, it has to be looking for perfection or looking for always happiness. And it's saying that that's a misunderstanding.
Okay. Yeah, now I understand what you're meaning. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a love for everything, but it doesn't mean you have to like it. You cannot like it, but it's love. That's it. That's the unconditional part. You don't have to like anyone. There's something else. It's love. It's not the love we know, like personal love.
Yeah, I also don't like the term universal love. I guess that's from more from the spiritual.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Can be confusing. A lot of people can talk so well, and then it can be confusing because the word seems the same, but still there's something else. Yeah, it can be like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no universe, so I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, and this unconditional love, it has no purpose.
No, it is. Yeah. It's not trying to help, trying to, with an agenda somewhere. A lot of times love is with an agenda because when you give something, you do it for, in the end, we do it for ourselves when there's someone. Not always, of course, but it can be like that. And unconditional is just there. It has nothing to do with helping. Helping can happen for no reason. It's just that. Also here, there's nothing to do with help. It's just saying things, and there can be a response, and that just happens. I don't know what's going on over there. There's no over there. There's just what's happening. It's only that. Everything is it. So who needs help? What needs help? Of course not. Sometimes there seems to be a need that things like, oh, I need something like that, some more love. I feel alone. There's a need for another person to be there or things like that. That need it's also an abstraction. When there's feeling sadness, then that's what is. And when there's someone, there seems to be always trying to make something like to feel more comfortable or feel free or feel happy. This is talking about everything. It's everything. There's no escape. It's the loss of trying to be different. really do not know. No. Mm. Yeah. Another one, another chat. When there's no one, there can still be a feeling of alone and wanting to be with someone. Mm. No, that's not what I know. Alone? No, it's not feeling alone. That's not a feeling. It's just more the feelings like anger or pain or joy or fear, things like that. Or you can't, sometimes it's a feeling you can't even name. You don't know what it is, but you can't say it's feeling alone. Most of the time, it's not even knowing what the feeling is sometimes. And there's also no knowing what's it because of this or because of that. I don't know. There's also no going on like, or I want to have this, or maybe that's better to do. All that is just not happening. It's not there. It's that feeling, and then walking to the kitchen and maybe something else, and then feeling can be there. There can be a thought like, what is going on with Else? I can phone her, something like that. Or me, like, I want to walk with her, something like, I don't know. It's just practical, more practical. I know maybe it's can happen, I don't know, but it seems to be when you say wanting to be with someone, no, it's not so much like that. No. Maybe there can be a thought like, I want that she is with me, and then it's after some moments it's gone. That can happen. It's difficult to tell what's going on because that's so quickly get away and then I don't know anymore. So wanted to be with someone, that's more from a need. Yeah, it seems to be a need. Yeah. And then maybe you feel better. Yeah. Yeah. A need is something from me, needs something because then I feel better, something like that. It doesn't come up when there's some feeling like, I don't know, something you can't even name it, then that's it. There's nothing going on like, what can I do or things like that. It doesn't come. It's not that I don't do that. It just, there's no escape. It's a loss of all those thoughts like, what can I do with it? Oh, maybe that's better than, it's the loss of that. It's not like, I know I can't do anything with that. That's knowing. That's something else. It's a loss. So there's no escape. There's just that feeling like that all day. No, not all day. But there can be also what happened. There can be like some stress, and then it feels like, oh, it's so not sure. It's so not sure, and that can still happen. Like and that's like, whoa, being not sure. We are so busy to be sure of things or wanting to have a certain steady feeling or things like that. It's not only not knowing, it's not, I'm not sure. God, can be sometimes like, then it goes away. Anything can happen. Just thinking. Maybe feeling alone is the me feeling cut of wholeness. Something like feeling alone in the world as anxiety. But feeling alone is like making a name of what is felt. Then, I feel so alone, and then something else is going on, and there's nobody, and I'm sitting here, and that's seems to be like a whole story about what's going on. Like there's just that, there's only that feeling, a feeling. I don't know even if it's feeling alone. It's a feeling. Maybe I don't know what it is. Feeling can be anxiety, and then we make it like, oh, I'm feeling alone, and that's part of that story, and then there's a lot of thoughts about that. There's that feeling. That's it. No name, no knowing what it is or where it comes from, where to go to. But me is trying to help, could say that, and trying to solve it and trying to make it more comfortable, or trying to get solutions or things like that. Trying to do that. That's that whole survival system that makes that, say, in the story. And in the same time, there isn't. There's only what is. So there's talking in the world, in the story, and there's talking like, oh, that's just what is. That's just what is. And in the story, it can explain a bit like, there is no story, there's only this. And there can be a lot of thinking about what's going on. That's me, which isn't real. It will never be understood. Maybe it can get some clearer, but okay, that can be there.
Hi, Rose.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Yesterday, I listened into a Zoom talk given by Tony Parsons, and an hour and a half question and answer type thing, and I noticed it's just an observation, but it puzzles me that what your there's a difference between the way you talk about this and the way that Tony talks about it. I know there's you come from the same, you went to a lot, of things with Tony. You go into, I mean, you're very clear and you go into details and you spell it out, whereas I felt a lot of that went on in the hour and a half was all centered around this business of there being no self, how it's energetic. But there was nothing, as far as I could see, or very little, or maybe a hint that you talk about there being no world, no. This is an abstraction. We abstract it, make an abstraction, where our brain is capable of doing that, and we create the world. We go beyond what we can see and feel and everything. And the impression I got was that from some of the people coming up with questions to Tony, and even from the whole thing that was been talked about, that it was like that wasn't mentioned. This dramatic. Well, it could be seen as dramatic that there's no world. There's no, there's. Tony uses the word nothing, but he doesn't spell it out and say, look, this means there's no world. There's no other people. You could get the impression that he's talking about people having an energetic realization, and so they're still that these are real bodies walking around, and the world is real, but there's just no one inside. You're talking, you even might say, well, it's undramatic in that life is about these small things like lifting my hand and having an itch on my foot and that sort of things. He never talks about something like that. So it's all centered around no self. So if there is a question here, from what I'm saying, it's like, I know you obviously you have your own way of expressing this, but have you added something extra to what Tony is? I can see you already shaking your head, but I never hear him talking about this like you do, and in very stark.
Yeah, it's about a parent. He talks about a parent. Maybe
yes, he uses that, but that isn't spelled out. It's like and it seems one could get the impression that it's all this is about real bodies, and everyday life. Just there's nobody inside it.
But that's the expression you have. Yeah. It's not. No.
I feel almost like
it's not different. I think I don't see the difference.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that that's probably so.
Not to say that I'm not adding something on. No. His message. No, it's the same message.
But you're spelling it out more than he does, I think.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't hear him for a long time, but I didn't. No. Maybe in that meeting he didn't, but I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I could see this message. Both messages could be scary, sure. But for different reasons. I think he's talking about it. This is scary because you take everything away. the world, everything, other people, nobody, the bodies, everything's taken away. I mean, I'm not scared now,
yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
I know what you mean.
and I noticed that Tony Parsons attracts, he has, for his meetings, there's hundreds of people turn up, and here there's a few people. I'm thinking, well, maybe Rose is too scary. They'll come once and don't want to come again.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't
it's just
know.
an observation,
Yeah. He's saying the same thing, but maybe not every time you talk, not because they're different, because there are different people asking questions, so it's energetic what's going on, what's talked about. Yeah. I know for myself that in the beginning that I was with Tony, I never heard that apparent. I didn't understand that. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it about that. It was so obvious. There was somebody there. There was a body, and I didn't hear apparent. I just skipped it. So I don't know how it goes.
But you spell out what apparent means. He just says it, or at least that's how it seemed to me in that meeting. It wasn't emphasized what lays behind that word. But, I could see Anita disagrees with me, but because I think she was there. But there you go.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. It's the same message, somebody says. Yeah, it's the same, but
yeah, I'm just an observation. Maybe. That's what. Yeah. That. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Me, it was also the first time that I heard apparently in his meetings. It looks like in England or in the United Kingdom, they use this word more than in the Netherlands. I guess we don't use this word schijnbaar.
No, it's a strange word. When you do it in the book, I was like, oh, this is a strange. We never use that word. It's really, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I when I was in the United Kingdom, I heard it on the radio. It looks that it's more familiar to use it. Apparently, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah. That can be like that. Yeah.
So maybe we it's better to use it more.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's in Holland. It's more. A lot of people are more mental, like. It's very real, and we're trying to figure it out. I don't know. In the story, you could say people. It's funny to see that some countries have different cultures, different way of expressing things. That's amazing. That's funny to see.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe female is different as male. I don't know. Sometimes it can be like that. I don't know.
But it's nice that there are also female speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tony was called the Terminator in Holland. I think that says pretty much about what he's doing.
He's very charming. It was a nice meeting yesterday. Yeah, beautiful. And he wants to come to Amsterdam, he told. This year. Yes. Has he contact with you already?
Yeah, I asked. Yeah,
wow.
They don't know yet, but because that whole Corona thing is maybe going to end. So then they were thinking about it. Oh, great that he was saying that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Now we're into chats today. Every speaker has their own way of talking about this, Dave. Go check out Kenneth Madden, Andreas Muller, Jim Newman, Ariane Emerson. You will see same matches, different expression. Yeah. And sometimes it seems the same and it isn't. So sometimes it's difficult to see. Somebody is very clear, but it's still different. It's more energetic. It's not about being clear. That can sometimes, it's fun to see maybe some differences. It's energetic. It's not about understanding. It has nothing to do with being clear or what people are saying. Even the words are not really important. They can be some understanding or being more clear about that. It's something underneath that's going on. And maybe it's not noticed, maybe it's somewhere, it's something underneath that. That's the killer. It's not in the words, not only in the words.
You mean the resonance?
Sorry?
You mean also the resonance?
Yeah, the resonance is underneath the words that can be there somewhere. And then it's not about what it's said. It's not the words that make it more clear or things like that. It can be nice, but it's not that. It's something else that happens in these kinds of meetings. No answer. So cut through all those concepts, and then but underneath there's something else happening too. There's something energetic. I was very tired after meetings, long time, something like that. It can be all kind of ways that it goes.
Yeah, last night I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, something like that can happen. Yeah. Yeah. And then in the same time, we're looking for, that's maybe because of that meeting.
Yeah.
That's also something like, then when they're saying something like this, then there can be a little story also about, that's what is going on then. And we're trying to know that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't matter.
There's no because. There's no why. There's only what's happening. And that's everything. That's the unconditional love. That's the aliveness. That's just lying there. It's that lying there. It's that. That's everything already.
Because we're so used to thinking cause and effect.
Yeah. Yeah. When there's no cause and effect, oh, what's going on there? That's, oh, and it's stuck. It's stuck. It's only this. That's it. It's lost. That's what me means, can mean. The cause and effect are lost, I would say.
And there also can be something like I'm going to start my own company, or that can also be there.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
If it happens or not, I don't
know.
know. You don't
I don't know.
But everybody knows that. But it seems like you're able to do. We're so into that. We are doing, and that's my choice, and things like that. It's very strong. But that's also like, oh, the disappointment, like, oh, I did so much and it didn't work. Yeah.
I don't know. It's also a kind of a strategy to earn some money, something like that. Maybe. I don't know.
Trying to make your life work, that's a very strong one. That's so strong, and able to make a choice and do what you want or what's good for you. And that the control is in your hands, and we are capable of making something. Or it's not us, it's life. And then it's neutral. Life is not for you or against you. It's neutral.
Rose?
Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I don't have the video. I'm very sorry. The question that when I was writing about being alone or aloneness, I'm just dealing with a relationship breakup, so there's all that stuff going on, and I had like for 2 days and really extreme kind of anxiety of like, I'm going to be on my own and I'm going to be alone and blah, blah, blah. And but it was really scary. I mean, in a sense, it was scary, but it was not scary. It was scary, like, because of all the stories, and it felt like very dark, and like, and then I could see it everywhere. Like if I would look around, I would see like this anxiety and like being alone. Like, it would be reflected in everything I would see around me. It was really funny to see that. Yeah. But there was still the ability, like, to know that it's not real. It was like, I know this is an anxiety. And this morning I woke up and there was this incredibly like some kind of timeless, boundless, whatever. And it was such a contradiction to the anxiety. So I was just wondering all that stuff of like, being alone or like alone I will not make it, or I need somebody else to whatever, hold my hand or like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so strange, these two different things. I mean,
it's so strong. That story can be so
Yeah.
strong and so embodied.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it comes
Yeah.
up and
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's
And
very
I had-
convincing. Yeah.
It is. And I had a lot
Mm.
of energies in the body, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of
Ah.
stuff happening. So I was just laying down on the bed and like the body would just have all these feelings and sensation and all these stories, like stories on stories on stories on stories and all kind of stories from the past time, from now. And it was like really going in loops. It just couldn't stop. And I just didn't care. That was the funny thing. That was new. In the past time, I would like to, to understand it and to go read about what can I do about it. And I would tap on it and I would just, all kind of techniques and want to get rid of it. And I don't want that. And why it's happening to me and, why it's happening to me.
Yeah.
And it seems like, even like in the deepest whatever, like I could feel really terrible. And it's like, I just see that there is like nothing need to happen or to do about that. I think that's a huge change for me, like a huge change. Like, what's wrong about feeling sad, or what's wrong about feeling unhappy, or I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
It was very strong. It was very strong, like 2 days of anxiety, and then suddenly this morning there was just like nothing there. I didn't even realize it was weekend or it was no weekend or
No story.
Yes. So just wanted to share like all this stuff about being alone or aloneness. And it could be, I'm not really sure that it could be like that stuff of the me could come up with like, I don't feel like I feel separated from wholeness, or I feel separated from the world, or whatever the story is, or and then I'm all alone on my own, something like that. That could be also, I mean, in a way, I don't know.
It can be so many stories. It's so different. Each person is different in the stories also.
Yeah.
So and then that seems really like, oh, this is so convincing in that sense of that person.
Right.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, huh? And it can be for a moment or longer or different.
Yes. It's really, I really love that you said like it's like that we have the capability to abstract things, because this is what we're doing. And I'm noticing it so many times, like there's this story and that story, then we stick it together and put it together and being so convinced about that, and then you get a conclusion and you're sure about that, and you share it with others and you spread it around, and I don't know, all kind of stuff.
Write a book.
Write a book.
I did that.
So it's like, I mean, for years I was just it was going on, and suddenly it's now became to be, I don't know what words to use. I mean,
no, you can't name it. That's the funny thing. You can't say how it is. Then it's suddenly like, oh, how do I say that?
Right. It's And the big thing is like that there's nothing to be fear of anxiety. That's the big revelation. There's nothing like to fear. Anxiety, it's just an anxiety. I used to be so much afraid of it, like, wow. Another anxiety, but it's just anxiety. It's just, I mean, it is.
That's it.
It's just that simple, like 2 days of horror, and then it's over, and then I can't even remember what happened there. It's
funny thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosma. And really love your meetings. Thank you very much.
Yeah, last week I was also, there was like anxiety when I was at my work. And there was something in me, so what shall they think about me? But it was okay, yeah.
Hi, Rose.
Hi, Dave.
Hi. I over the years, I've been to lots of different meetings, some spiritual type things, or else a lot of non-dual type things, and very often at the beginning of the meeting, it's sort of made clear that it's important that we start the meeting with silence. So everybody's quiet, everything settles down, and then maybe something would say, or people shut their eyes, and that kind of thing, or even during while the speaker is speaking, everyone has their eye, a lot of people have their eyes shut, and it's like to make it more spiritual. And in your meetings, you don't start with silence. It's not important. But very often, like just before I started speaking, no one's speaking, no one's asking a question, and so, and there is quiet, at least there's no talking. Do you think that, and you've talked about this is about not an understanding thing, it's an energetic thing. So do you think there's something energetic going on even when nothing's being said? You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes when the questions are not really answered, that you don't get anything. The mind is just quiet, and there are no answers coming, and it's like, oh, and it's maybe then there's silence can be there. It doesn't have to.
But do you see it as something? I don't know the right word to use, but I mean, there's. Is it just an ordinary period of nothing going on and nothing special about it, or is there some? Do you know what I mean? Is there an energetic thing going on in these meetings, even when no one speaks, maybe for a whole hour?
Yeah. That energetic thing. It's underneath the words. It's also in the silence, of course.
Right.
It can be stronger then. But it happens. It's not intended to.
No.
So yeah, it can be very strong in silences. Yeah.
Or it can be awkward. People may think you can get bored in the silence and want to.
Sure. Yeah, it can happen. Everything can happen. Then it's quiet, but in the mind, and there's maybe they're bored or like irritation because somebody makes noises, or I don't know. It's like, yeah.
I mean, I like it when something happens in these meetings, when somebody asks a question or says something. rather than long periods. I'm thinking, oh, I won't get to speak to Rose for another few weeks. This is the last. Anyway, I know it's, this is the time. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's straight. I feel like in meetings in person, it's all it's different.
Right.
The silences, but no, not better also, but it's different.
Different to Zoom.
Yeah, but all a meeting is in Zoom is just different than when you're in person. So
yeah.
In April I'm doing it in person again. I think that will happen, and then I like it more in person, but it's okay when it's no other possibility. Then we do it like this. And it's amazing. In the beginning, I thought, oh, what is going on? But it's just going. That's crazy. I'm just talking to, I see a computer. I see just names. And it's talking. It's just like that too. Yeah. Or there's no talking, then it's still something. Yeah.
How do you mean still there's something?
No, still there's that energetic
right
sense. Not like sometimes I can feel it, sometimes I don't know.
Okay. Thanks.
There's also somebody say, if there's no you, are there thoughts like, what does she do? I will not see her again. Can happen, but not really serious. That can happen, but it falls away very quickly because there's nothing going on that picks it up and do something with that. So any thought can happen, and maybe for a little while, and then they fall away. It's not that I want to do that, or I'm sure that it's the best way, or things like that. It's just not. It's just lost. It just comes and it falls apart. Yeah. I can be saying also, if are there archetypes thoughts all day is me? What is archetypes? Archetypes? I don't know that word. Are there thoughts all day? It's me. No. There's nothing going on about me. No, that's lost. That's lost. That's what I was busy with all time. When I felt tension, I thought, oh God, the me is just trying to da 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 da. Oh, what is me? I can still feel something. Oh, it's not right yet. And what is the me? And I was trying to figure it out. What is me also? It's just lost. There's nothing going on about that. It's just not there. Thinking thoughts about what is me, or is this me, or things like that. No. That's lost. There's not so much going on. It can be, and it's very normal, like going shopping and thinking, oh, what shall I, and I write down what I need to buy, or I forget the ticket, I forget it. It's just a normal. Yeah. But that thing like, oh, busy with what's going on, that's lost. That's not there. And it's even very, very simple. It's not noticed also. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Rose. I have no camera now. I'm here with my family, so I just must be quickly. But I don't mean that. I don't think if it's my thought or if it's me or no. But usually when the speaker speaks, that, for example, say there are thoughts, but no one, they are very shortly, not so long time, or how to say. But if there is the same thought, maybe 4 or 5 thoughts, and they are all the time, like every day story, all the time, it seems to be like only this thought, mindless thoughts every day, every week, every year. So this is what happened too. So
With you, that you mean with you, that happens with you? I can't.
Yeah, if I have the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thought, all the time the same thought, for example, 5 thoughts about something, and it's all the time repeating again and again and again. So this is what's happened, and there is no one who has these thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it cannot be said that if there is no one, that the thoughts are like shortly, the thoughts comes and go, and another thought comes. It couldn't be even that they are all the time the same thought.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know, but it can be forced maybe sometimes because that it's energetic. So the thoughts and the body and that whole every mechanism can go on for a while and maybe longer.
Yeah,
without
because
I don't know for what.
I have almost all the same thoughts more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And actually these thoughts in apparently life are maybe here every second minute. All the time it's behind all the same thoughts. So I just only want to know if it's what happened too, because usually people say that there are some thoughts but very shortly, or there are some emotions and shortly and change, and after there are another thought. But if they are the same thoughts, it could be said that this character, it's apparently like this.
Yeah, or it's in the story. There can be a lot of some stress and some energetic things like it's frozen and then it's going on the same time, and then it can be very energetic. So here can happen also things like that.
Yes.
And then after a while it goes, but there's nothing going on but about what's all those thoughts that maybe I don't remember so much, but maybe there are some thoughts coming and they are the same maybe, and then it's just like that, and then it's going, and there's nothing going on about that. But that can happen because that in that body there can be some energetic thing, and that can be thoughts, or it's not only that emotions are it's just can be thoughts too. So there can be anything. It can be for a while. It can take some time also, that there are just that same mechanism is going on, and there's nothing going on by that. That's just that mechanism, that body is acting out, you could say, for no one. Yeah, can be different for anybody. So
yeah,
it's
because
just
then
energy.
So there is no one who can do anything with that.
No, it doesn't need to. And when that seems to be the same, I don't. It's always new. So it's always it seems to be the same, but it's different. Then it's that. So what? And there are a lot of the same thoughts, or there's walking. It's life. It's both. It's both. It's life. It's just life. There's not for no one. And it doesn't need to stop, and then there are only some thoughts, and then it falls away.
I know. I think problem is that when there is a sense of I, that I feel so much uncomfortable because it seems to be like very long time with this unhappy or how to call thought. Which for I, it's all the time like a very unpleasant or suffering or something like that, because I think that when there is an owner, that the I think that he creates this I, it's like really very unpleasant. Yes.
Yeah, but unpleasant feeling can happen. And
I know, but
it's not because of the thoughts. That's what we always think. It's because of those thoughts I feel, or because I feel so, I have those sorts of things. The thoughts is just energy, and that feeling is all. It's not your thoughts. It's even not happening in the body. It's just there, and it's just life. It's just life. It's only life.
I know, but you say that. But you say that the thoughts are not depending of for example, feel unpleasant. Yes.
No.
Yes, but why?
There's no relation.
Yeah, so why it's apparently seems in story that if you have if you have some thoughts, you all times you have a good feeling, and if you have some other kind of thoughts, that there is no good feeling. So if it's not, for example, depend on so much, why, for example, when the people are suffering and dying, why the people are not smiling mostly? If it's not depend on this, you know what I want to ask?
Yeah, but what most people think it's the belief it's really strong that's related. So
yeah,
when there's no relation, there can be a lot of ugly thoughts, and there can be smiling, or I don't know, there can be, it's not related. So it has nothing to do with that.
You mean this is very long, how to say in story, very long construct of
it's a construct.
That, for example, we teach from the small child and my parents and before that this is sad, you have to cry or something like that.
Yeah, it's very complicated and it's very embodied. So it's so strong, and it can, when it's suddenly there's no relation anymore, but it can go on. It can go on there, or for periods or for longer. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's not all the time quickly and then it's gone. No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for asking. Yeah. There's no relation. There's just only this. I'm a lot of times saying just. It's only this. That's it. There's no relation between thoughts or maybe a body. That's it. It's this. And it can be thoughts, there can be a feeling, can be the floor. Life is very neutral. It's uncomplicated. It's only this. That's very simple. It's very simple and very straight. And there's no escape. There's no escape. It seems there is an escape, but because in the mind we're busy with trying to escape or trying to do something with it, and busy. That's that story. It's just a dream. It's a dream. So there's that story, and everything goes on like life. It's everything. So life goes on like that, and there's that story with that. So trying to make it work or trying to do with that, and that's the dream. And there can be a dream, and there can be a lot of thoughts. That it isn't wrong when there's that dream and that belief. Then that's what's happening. That's life. That's life happening. That's our unconditional love. It's everything. It's thoughting, it's feelings, it's energetic. Then this, then that, then the floor, then images. It's everything. So it can't be, it's never lost. So it can't be found. It doesn't need to have to be found because it's never lost. It's the only thing there is. And it's everything. So it's not there's someone and it needs to be figured out, or I need to understand, or how can I da 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 da. All those thoughts can be there and it can go on. And suddenly there's no one listening anymore. Something like that, you could say. So they can go on, why not? But after a while, they don't come anymore. And sometimes then suddenly there are a lot of thoughts again. And there's nobody listening. That's the strange thing. And it's not on purpose, it's lost. And when there's that listening, then that's what's happening. Then there's energy in that way. It's energetic, so it's not. It's still the neutral. It's everything. So a lot of thoughts and thinking, or there's someone, then that's life already. It can't be wrong. It isn't right also. It's this. It's everything. Thank you. Thank you for joining.